Hello traders, how are you doing? I hope everything's fine with you and welcome to a new weekly Forex Market Analysis. And as you know, I always like to start with the economic calendar. As we can see, Monday, tomorrow, basically we have no big news at all. It's actually a French bank holiday. On Tuesday, we have some news on Canadian dollar and we have some news on USD, which are very important, by the way, because it's a CPI. And then we have news on GBP. And on Wednesday, we have news on GBP and USD. On Thursday, we have news on Australian dollar and US dollar, which also are important. Friday, I would say no major news. So looking at this week, we can see that we have actually a lot of news on USD, which is good for us because US dollar is the major and the dominant currency in the market. And definitely when we have a lot of moves, it impacts all the market, and therefore we can expect also a lot of moves in the market. Now, by seeing that, let's go to the DXY, the US dollar index. And let me start with this chart here. So looking at this chart here, let's go to weekly time frame. So if you remember what I told you about these levels are very, very, very important. And these levels, I call them as psychological levels. You can see them on the chart here, like, 110, 108, 750, etc. And these levels acts as resistance and support, depends on where the price is. In general, as you can see, for example, price broke below this level, came almost to retest it, but a little bit above, or here, support, price broke below, didn't come to retest so far as a resistance, but then price broke below this level here, which is 101.250, price came to retest it here as a resistance. And also this level, price broke below, resistance, price broke above, support, price broke below, resistance, etc. And then we had this level, which is 97.500. And this level, when the price broke below here, as you can see, I did say I would expect price not to come to that point to retest it, but I would see price actually moving a little bit to the upside. And this happened last week. And if you watched the last week video, you will see also that I was talking about that more into details. And I did say that I would expect a lot of traders in the market are going to sell USD, while myself and the community, we were actually buying US dollar, and therefore we were selling euro and we were selling GBP. And actually last week we had a very beautiful 4% trade on GBP, which closed in profit. And we have actually another euro trade, euro USD. It was a short trade and it's running in profit, and I will talk about it soon. So two things I want to keep in mind. There is this gap here, which for me, I would say I would expect price to go and to close this gap or fulfill this gap. This is at least first point I want to check. But let's move to this chart here, because this has more, I would say, details, and it's working to the point. So as you can see here, we have support. Price broke below. What happened? Came to retest as a resistance, and price was selling from here. And by the way, we were actually selling from this point. And then again, right now, what do we see here? We have also again support, price broke below. And then I would expect at least price to come to retest this level. And I want to see what will happen when the price come here. When we come here, we might close 70% of our Euro USD short, and then I will keep the remaining 30% because I want to see what will happen from here. Because to be fully honest, I have some little, I would say, assumption that maybe we can see at least another push to the upside from here on the US dollar before moving to the downside. So long term, I'm shorting the US dollar, but medium term, or it depends what is medium term, I would say at least for next week, I might at least says that we might see a push to the upside first on US dollar. So this is what I would expect. Now going to gold. Let's just start from here, this one. So let's go to weekly time frame. So what you see, we are in a massive uptrend. That's obvious. Like everyone can see that, everyone knows that, and yeah, it's very clear. And what we can see here is that we have this massive and strong trend line which is holding nicely. First touch, second touch, third touch, and then we had here fourth touch and fifth touch. But let's go to daily time frame, because then things gets better, I would say. Because we had this uptrend here, so price was making higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, and then this was the last higher low. So this point was very, very, very important. And as far as we were above this point, let me just put it this color. As far as we were above this point, we were still in an uptrend on daily time frame. Apart that we are on an uptrend on also weekly time frame. But seeing from here, price started to make lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. Did the price make lower low? No. So for us, the last lower high is this one. That's why this point is a very critical point. Why? Because this is the last lower high on daily time frame. So keep in mind, on weekly time frame, we are in an uptrend. Okay? If I will use, arrows, it will be like that. And then here we had another uptrend. And then from here down, we were in a downtrend. Okay? So let me remove it now. And this point, as I said, this is the last lower high on daily time frame. So as far as we are below this point, we are still in a downtrend. And this is a very, very, very important and critical point. Okay, that's why I would love to see how the price will basically react from this point. Ideal scenario for me will be the following. Price will come to liquidate this point with, let's say, strong daily candle, bullish candle. And then I will wait for the next day. If price will come to retest, and then from here I will be waiting to buy. Okay, because that will be the smart trade. But what market does most of the time, we will see a strong bullish candle. After that, strong bearish candle. And then from here, we will see the price to come to liquidate this area, because here we have perfect double bottom. When you see something like that on the chart, you have to know that there is a lot of stop losses and liquidity down here. And once the price will come to liquidate these points, then I would say I would wait for the price to break above here and then go for the long swing buy. So if that scenario will work, so then, as I said, I will be waiting for the price to break above, and then I will wait one day to see how the next candle will be. If it will break below, then I will be waiting for the retest from here, selling from this point all the way down here, and then I will be not taking profit here, I will be taking a profit there, down here, and from this point I will wait and see. Here I will close 70% of my position, and then from here I will wait. If price will come to liquidate, or I'm sorry, to retest, and from here I will be selling, or it will be exactly the same scenario, so price will come above, and then I will wait to buy from here, and then move all the way up. So this is a very, very, very important, I would say, gameplay I have in mind for gold, and yeah, I will be really looking forward for that. Now let's move to Euro USD, and let's go to this chart here. This is a trade which I gave completely for free in my last week. If you watched the last week video, you will see this trade. I spoke about it to the point. I said price on Monday, and you can watch my video and you will see that price on Monday will break below, and then I will wait for the retest, and from here I will be selling. And this is what exactly happened. Price on Monday, as you can see at the bottom of the screen, Monday price broke below. And then from here, we entered, and actually I entered from here. And as you can see right now, this trade is almost, it reached 3.2% profit, and right now it is around 2.2% profit. I will be holding and waiting for the price to go down here, but anyway, for your information, right now we are running this trade risk free. Why? Because once it reached 1% profit, we move our stop to break even. Why this point? Because as you can see here, we have resistance, 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 resistance. Price broke above, and since then, price didn't come to retest this as a support. So this is the area where I want the price to go to. And second, if we will extend this trend line, you will see that also we have the trend line coming here. So that's second confluence. Third, if we look at it with FIBO, so you can see it's almost around the 61.8, and that's why I will be actually, looking for the price to come down here, and from here I will be again, at least getting out with 80%, I would say. Going to 4 hours time frame. So again, what do you see here is we had this here, you can see this level, which is, let me put it that way. Okay, so what do we see here? Support, 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 support. Price broke below, came to retest as a resistance, and here we see, some resistance. But I would expect maybe when the price will start, maybe, because at the end of the day, we need to see the price action. Also, as you can see here, this trend line 1, 2, price broke below, came to retest. Here is the back of the trend line 1 and 2. But yeah, I would expect maybe, price to at least move a little bit to the upside. If we use FIBO, maybe also from here, we can see a little bit move to the upside to here or to here, and then all the way to the downside. I really expect and see that, to be fully honest with you. And yeah, I'm waiting for this to play, because I might add another position from here, because as I said, this one is already, completely risk-free. So for us, there is no harm to add another position to that. And let's go to weekly time frame. I really like it, and why I tell you that I will close 80% of my position here, because there is this one as well, which is on weekly time frame. What do you see on weekly time frame? Resistance, 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 resistance. And since the price broke above, didn't come to retest it as a support. So this is currently 6.3% trade, but it might be actually all the way up to 13.2% trade. That's why I'm not going to close my all position here at 6%. I will wait, because maybe also price can extend and go all the way down to here. So that's why it's a very important point, I would say. Now let's move to the last one, which is GBP/USD. This is where we had a lovely 4% trade, and we closed it in profit. Again, it was very similar to EUR/USD. On Monday, what did I say? And you see these arrows from last week. I would expect price to break below and then come to retest this level and move to the downside. What happened? As you can see how these levels are strong, guys. Resistance, 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 resistance. Price broke above, came to retest support, support. Here, almost support. Price broke below, came to retest resistance. And then from here, we see the move to the downside. And we were selling exactly from this point here. And this actually closed on 4% profit trade, and it was beautiful one. And yeah, congratulations for everyone from the community. Now I would say on weekly time frame, again, I would expect price to come here. Why? Because very similar to EUR/USD, resistance, 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 resistance. Price broke above, and since then price didn't come to retest it as support. So That's actually a beautiful, I would say, trade for me. And I would love, maybe, yeah, yeah, I would say maybe all the way from here, price can come, to retest this area first. Let me put it as a daily. And from here, I would say we can see price moving that way and then moving the way down. And that actually confirm my point about why I say that I'm really expecting maybe the DXY to move a little bit to the higher side, because that will align completely with the move which I expect all the way down on gold, at least to this area, also on Euro USD to come down to this area, or even can be extended down to this area. Same story on GBP USD. So that's all, guys, for this week. I hope you find it useful, and I hope that it will help you in preparation for the new week. Take care, have a safe trading. Cheers.